Welcome back to the HVAC Accelerated Success Program. When we talk about the forces acting on an aircraft, one of the things that must be considered is the vector or angle. When an aircraft or business is flying level, the forces act as two independent conflicts, separate from one another. As the attitude of the aircraft changes, the forces begin to work in different ways. For an example, when an aircraft takes off and starts to climb, a portion of the thrust is attributed to lift. And the steeper the angle, the more thrust equates to lift, meaning a faster climb, but less forward motion. Further, as the attitude changes, more drag is added to the weight. So in business, when you are in growth mode, increasing your revenue, you must look at how products and solutions, your thrust, balance with the competition, or better, represented companies with similar solutions. Your company's capability to provide this product, thrust, when there is a demand, lift, at the lowest possible cost, weight, will determine your company's ability to climb. This week, we will look at how prospective and current customers find you and reach out. In this new normal, one of the primary ways customers interact with businesses is through some form of an electronic interaction. Let's examine how our 6 companies stack up when our digital experts analyze the digital presence of these companies.
The seasonality made it difficult to show attribution of the work in a consistently moving up style unless you had a full year's worth of data. So believe it or not, we started using a few different algorithms that would look at the search volume versus impression share, which created a relative ratio. But at the end of the day, this month, 208 people searched for AC installation. That search has a buying mindset value of $6,300 for this customer that was given to us by them. Based on the percent of closes that they get, and working with understanding the attribution, meaning what keyword produces what kind of close, you can get an average understanding of the average close rate and value. So again, starting at the demand for each search after producing the valuation benchmark, we start out at 200 people search for that. Well, 13% of people clicked on the position based on where it's positioned, bringing us 28 website visitors. Immediately, because it's the industry standard rate, 54% bounce. Now, our job is to share with our customers each one of these metrics, because as you see, if you change any of these numbers, the amount of money you make at the end of the day is very significant. So in the HVAC world, you got a bunch of gauges that tell you what's broken, what's not. For us, we look at these 4 numbers. And if the bounce rate is too high, that means too many people are leaving the website. If 80% of people are bouncing as soon as they come to the site, the number of interested prospects drops down to 6. And so conversion rate, and this conversion rate is done against the click-through rate. So that's how many people convert to a phone call. And then once they convert to a phone call, was the CSR, was the customer service able to close them? And that'll turn phone calls and form fills into customers. So this is a numeric version of the user journey, from visitor to interested in a prospect to a phone call to a customer.
So you guys, let's go back from the beginning. If the website is insecure, take that bounce rate and move it up to 80%.
Yeah.
And if the website is insecure, that your bounce rate. If your website is insecure and you're using an AOL email address, now your bounce rate is 85%. Now, if you go to the website and the website has negative reviews, your bounce rate is, well, it's not, because
your conversion rate would
conversion rate just sucked. So your conversion rate went down. The number of people who clicked through went to nothing. Now, let's say you had bad reviews and your bounce rate changes because as soon as I get to the website, I can't tell if you're even in my city. I landed on your website, you've got palm trees all over, and I'm in the middle of Colorado. It doesn't make sense. The market to landscape or message match didn't click. So now your bounce rate went up again. The higher your bounce rate and the lower your click-through rate, the less money you make. The total number of pages on your website That's how many services. So when you look at keywords, if I want to go after AC installation, but the page doesn't exist, take off 42,000 a year. If I want to sell AC service, but that page doesn't exist, take off another $509 per year. If I want to sell ductless air conditioners or heat pumps or furnaces or boilers or anything, if it doesn't exist, the keyword doesn't exist, you take off the line. If you scare the consumers before they click through, then you have no click-through rate, take off the money. If you scare the consumers once they land on your website, your bounce rate increases, your money goes down. If you don't give consumers an ability to chat with you at midnight, or to schedule an appointment on a Sunday, or to send you a text on the 4th of July on a holiday when your AC went out, if you take away any of those elements, either your click-through rate or your bounce rate changes. And when it changes, your cash goes down.
Right.
As a business owner, I want more time, money, and freedom. Therefore, I need to become an investor in my business. So an investor in your business, you have the ability to either invest in permanent assets that have compounding interest impacts, meaning the dollar I spend today is worth more in the future. Or I have to advertise. That's the difference between inbound marketing, i.e. creating a magnet for consumers to find and connect with, or throwing arrows over a brick wall trying to nail someone in the head and then drag them back in, advertising. So inbound marketing or creating a permanent asset, that's when you can create something that has a life shelf of forever. And the longer it exists, the more powerful it becomes. Advertising, and we need to separate those words because they're different kinds of investments. Advertising is when I'm taking my $1, throwing it out there and hoping I get $1.50 back. But when I stop spending that $1, I'm still where I started. So you guys, give me some examples of advertising where I'm burning and churning cash. There's no permanent asset. When I run out of money or the campaign is done, I'm right back where I started. What is traditional advertising?
Like direct mail.
Direct mail, absolutely. What else?
Radio.
Radio, absolutely. What else?
Door to door.
Door to door, yes.
Billboards.
Billboards.
Phone
yes.
calls.
When
Ads,
people
pop-ups.
when people put the thing on your front lawn.
Yes, signs.
TV advertisement.
TV, yes. What about pay-per-click? Google AdWords. Is that long-term, permanent, or short-term advertising?
It could be whatever you want, essentially.
What if I stop spending?
Well, then it's
Short term.
temporary.
So if I do a TV, is it temporary, TV commercial, temporary or permanent?
In temporary.
Temporary. What if I took that saved TV commercial, I recorded it in a video like this, dropped it on YouTube? Now what is it?
Permanent.
Permanent. Why? What happens to the video a year from now?
Still there.
Still there, and it has more what?
More views.
More views. Absolutely.
And then engagement, hopefully.
Yes, ma'am. That's what Chris is talking about here are permanent assets. Your website, permanent asset you need to take care of. The longer it exists, the more powerful it is. Backlinks. That is getting other reputable website companies to talk about and link to your website. That's when Google says if CNN writes an article about you, you must be good. If the Amana puts a article on their website about a dealer, you must be good and relevant because Amana is a high-ranking website and it's industry specific. If you get written up in the local news, if you have a job posting, you post at your local college, and that job posting has a link back to your website where there's a job board, and it's in the trades department. Now you have a reputable university that's linking back to your website. All of those things are showing Google that other reputable companies trust you. And that's SEO. Let me give you just kind of a quick summary. I'm going to go to CI Web Group real quick. We're going to scroll down and we're going to jump right to it, the 12-step roadmap. 12-step roadmap is essentially a process and a system to help you get to the next level by doing the right things in the right order at the right time. We're going to talk a little bit about branding, technology, and your website. I'm going to quickly go through this. You need a new website. So you guys have essentially a very simple site. We need to get it up to par with standard operating procedures for web. We need to figure out, and I know you're going to have a conversation with Matt Plugoff to really figure out who you are and trying to kind of rip the soul of the company out of your heart so that we can get it into a digital environment and figure out what your unique selling proposition is, what your vision and your mission is, and how can we incorporate those things into your web design. We want to get you into a position where you have a true header, a true footer, a true body area, a true slider, proper text sizing. We want to make sure that you actually have one page for every single service that you guys want to take to market. You see, Google is just a giant filing system. Your website is a store, and inside your store there are products. The more products you have, the more you can sell. In this store, really what we're telling Google is, I sell home, I sell services, I sell help, I sell about, and I sell contact. If you think about a store, when you go through the entire store, I'm gonna go site : enter, Google sees that you have 7 products in your store. Those products are titled repair and install of heating and air systems, but it doesn't say where. About, contact, heating, services, help, and then there is a single page called air conditioner. So we've got to work on this. As Kim's gonna dive into on the technical side, that is going to be very difficult for Google to identify. What is this page truly about? Where do you serve? And how can I take this page, file it in a drawer so a consumer searching for air conditioning repair in your city can actually find you? Ideally, the goal of this project is we have to make sure that in a 6-month period, we make a lot of progress. We've got to be able to identify what do you want to sell, where do you want to sell it, and we've got to make you an option so consumers who are looking to buy that service can actually find you. That's our goal. So there's going to be a whole bunch of technical things that have to take place in order to get you found on Google. Once they're found, we've got to make sure that this website is going to help you convert appointments. So making sure that phone numbers are in the right place. We don't have phone numbers that are not click to call in strange and odd areas. If we're going to allow somebody to be able to text the line, we need to know that that's there. Technically, we need some kind of call to action other than just a question. I see this book online over here. No, it takes us to a third-party site, but in reality, someone's coming to the site because they want to schedule service, or because they want to request an estimate, or because they want to shop online, or because they want to get a price, or because they want to know if you service their area, or if you allow them to apply for financing, or if you have a maintenance agreement. They're coming to the site with intention and a purpose. We've got to make sure the second they land on the site that they're getting what they came for. So I love that you say, how can we help you? And we have air conditioning, heating, and products. We're just going to take that to the next level. Kathy, call to actions. On here, what are some of the types of conversion systems that are missing from here that consumers generally want to interact with when they visit any website?
Absolutely. Well, how about just a nice button that says contact us, which opens a form that they can actually tell you what they need. Okay. The other ability is to be able to schedule online, which obviously y'all do with your third party, but the ability to be able to schedule services and also to be able to maybe buy products and also even sell systems. That's a very interesting thought. Now, the other piece that I'm looking at too is nowadays, especially during this environment, a lot of your customers are looking for virtual appointments that they can maybe troubleshoot something, a funny sound coming out of the air conditioner. They just want you to hear it. They want to talk to you. They want to meet you. So how about a virtual online scheduling possibility as well. The other conversion, Jennifer, that I would love to see is the actual 5 stars Google, leave a business review in that top header. Those are the top of mind things that I'm seeing right now.
Right now, we're sitting in the middle of a pandemic. What are some of the things that are important for dealers to be able to communicate to consumers who are looking for, as Kathy said, virtual service, but what else are they looking for that's important to have on any website right now?
We want to have the ability to have a chat bot, being able to have a chatting system with someone. People are working, we're working from home. And in that, we're trying to navigate our life with this distant learning. I want to be able to chat you right from your website to ask questions, to schedule service, to pay my bill. Even I want to have an option to shop your guys' equipment online right now. Having some way to shop, or even having a way to have that live chat system and being able to ask my questions on what I'm shopping. We need to be able to have that. And you also want to promote virtual service. You want your sliders to be big, prominent, and promoting that you can virtually look at something, virtually quote something, or even just be able to walk them through navigating their thermostat. The easiest thing that no one really wants to go to the call for, but you can navigate your customer through a Zoom meeting and being able to virtually diagnose that and take that payment onto your website right now.
Wow. What'd you think?
That's about what I thought.
SA. Like, I'm blown away. So I pretty much watched a bunch of videos while I was, the whole COVID thing. And I watched a presentation that she did. And I mean, their company was amazing when I watched it, forever ago. And I looked up their company, and kind of saw all their stuff that they did. And the fact that we're getting all of that, oh my God, that is huge. Holy, like, I am dying right now. Like, oh my gosh, I can't even freaking believe that. I'm dying. It's so huge. Like, he doesn't really understand it all, but it is huge.
Normally it's like 7 meetings and it's about 90 days to do what they just did right there, all of the analysis. By the way, Annie, I'm going to email you the whole digital review. So you're going to have all of the reports. You're also going to have that same Zoom meeting as well if you want to watch it again. Hands down, CI Wed Group, there is no other company for the heating and air industry that has your back. I mean, when we're talking about this entire extreme makeover, they come in, and I mean, when it's done, it's ridiculous what they do. I mean, they have so many, you only saw a part of their team. I know Jennifer and Mike personally, and I'm going to tell you right now, the most genuine people that simply want to make BLR unbelievably amazing.
I'm Jennifer Beckley, CEO of CI Web Group, and I have with me just some of the resources that are going to be working with you as far as your website and your digital marketing strategy. But we're talking about Pioneer Air out of Las Vegas, and we're going to dive into just kind of some nuts and bolts and really what we think the biggest opportunities are and what you can expect from participating in the HVAC Accelerated Program as it relates to the time with CI Web Groups. Well, we're really excited to have Pioneer with us, Pioneer Air, and to get started on your guys' entire digital marketing. So if you're not familiar with what's all being included here, I know you're sitting with your coach, you and Matt, one of our favorite people, and you guys are going to go through this with us. So let's get started. We're going to jump right into it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up essentially our analysis of your current position, and this is done with no access to analytics. So at this time, this is all what we can see from the outside in without having any inside out access. Very simply, first things first, as I go to open up the site, this is essentially a WordPress website, but it's not necessarily a full site. It's just a single page. And we have a lot of issues when it comes to load time. So we've got a slow site, slow load times. We don't have a full website. There's really nothing for Google to crawl here because everything is on one page. So at best in your current environment, the only thing you could get found for really is Pioneer Air in Las Vegas. So if they knew your name, that's essentially what the primary search term that could work for you is. Of course, we want to change that. You've got an incredible brand. I know Mike is excited about working with your brand. You've got a great design behind it. We just need to take this brand and build you an amazing website that fits such a quality brand so that you guys can really stand out in your marketplace. So ideally, we want to get you guys found for all of these things. Google is trying to sort every single website based on what's inside of it. This website is just a single page. So Google doesn't see any of these items on here because every individual page is like a product in the store. If Google can't crawl pioneerairlv.com/AC repair in Las Vegas, AC installation Las Vegas, AC maintenance Las Vegas, AC tune-up Las Vegas, and so forth, then Google doesn't have anything to sort to display for those consumers searching for services that you sell in cities that you're willing to serve. And we want to make sure you're an option. So the site as a whole, we're just going to rebuild it. We're going to get rid of all of the things that are missing, such as we don't want phone numbers on the site that you can't click to call. We don't want phone numbers designed into elements of the site that are unclickable, just graphics. We need to make sure that it's mobile responsive, that it has proper schematic markup, that it has accelerated mobile pages on it. We need a server that actually serves up the website quickly. And we need to get rid of everything that's slowing this site down. One page, it should load really, really fast. We also want to make sure that there's really clear call to actions on the site. When someone's coming to the site, they have an issue and they want a solution. They want to schedule service. They want to request an estimate. They want to apply for financing. They want to sign up for maintenance. They want to know if you service the area. They want to shop online. Whatever they want to do, we've got to make sure. They might want to apply for a job. We've got to have a clear call to action, a button on the page that properly represents the solution to the problems they're looking for online. And we need to make sure that the website is filled with pages for the services you want to sell and the cities you want to sell them, so we can even have a shot at getting Google to start ranking this site. One of the areas that we were trying to dive into was social media. What'd you find when you dove in?
I'm actually going to take your screen share just so I can go over and show them exactly what it is that I'm seeing. When I go into your social media, it's not linked directly into your guys' actual website. So no one even knows that it existed. I have to go to searching through Google to find your guys' actual social media standpoint. But then the issue I run into is it's not updated. You guys haven't posted to your social media since March, and you guys talked about allergies. This still doesn't link into your guys' phone number. There's no way for them to click on it to call it. It doesn't have your guys' website in here. It's just a stock image. And you guys kind of have the Happy St. Patrick's Day, but the call to action right here is about allergy reducents. You want to keep those holiday posts along with your guys' promotional graphics separate. But then from there, it goes into Valentine's Day. There's not really much update happening. And when you don't have posting happening once a week, daily, you don't have things that are connecting you to the people and people aren't connecting back to you, that will drop your guys' authority and who Google finds you and sees you at, which Kim will go into when it comes to social media. The one thing I will say that is good about the social media standpoint is your guys' clients are finding you, whether they have you on social media already, and you guys have actual reviews that have been coming through, which is good. We're getting reviews. You guys got one just here in July. Great company, always quick to call, so helpful for consumers, best in town, which we want to promote that on your website. We want to find where they're finding you, find what they're saying about you, how they feel about you, and have other people be able to see it. That is the only thing that was positive about the social media. Other than that, we just need to work on really branding your social media, getting who you are and getting the correct posting going and having that update on a regular basis.
Let's talk about where we want to go. So I know our team's going to pull together the website. We're going to get started on the content. We're already working on all this stuff. What could this market look like if we put together a proper digital marketing strategy?
What my team did today, we started pulling together some data based off the keywords that we think will be the best to target using your website. So we pulled some quarterly predicted search volume, as well as breaking that down into monthly, and then we broke down these numbers based off of the consumer journey. So this is how many people are searching for a phrase. This is how many users will, on average, and we're just using industry averages here, but let's say you get a click-through rate of 10%, which is really great industry average. And then let's say you've got a bounce rate of 50%. From there, you get, let's say 30% of the customers that are actually interested in looking around decide to reach out to you. And then we're basing this off of a 70% CSR close rate. However, we can absolutely adjust that in our inputs. So what we're looking at is for these particular phrases and the cities that we search for, we're looking at a potential of over 400,000 monthly. So we're going to be targeting these phrases and the cities that we went over right here. So we're looking at Vegas, Paradise, and Henderson, and we're hoping to get to this point. This is our sweet spot.
We've seen like the initial front page, but then, which was awesome.
The continued role and relevance that generating a first-class user experience, consumer experience, both in person and off and online, is going to play in your company's growth and survival in the future.
First and foremost, we've got to fix all of the local directory listings. Kim.
Yeah, so we ran this report and we noticed there were some errors throughout. And what we focus in on these listings are your name, your address, phone number, and website. You want these to all match and all be the same. You want these to be reference points for how people can reach you, where they can find you, where can they contact you to get your services.
So you guys, Google is looking at the name, address, place information to validate your company. First, it's going to go look at what your ICANN details are. What do you have listed with your domain registrar? Then it's going to go look at how are you listed on Google Business. Then it's going to go look at your website, what address is shown on there. And then it's going to validate it against all of these local directories, citation sites, bookmarking sites, social media sites, local directories, map directories, AI sites, and everything else. And what it's trying to do is say you are who you say you are. So we can't get that across unless we have accurate information. We're missing a lot of information, a lot of inaccuracies, missing addresses, phone numbers, and it's kind of all over the board. So we need to tighten that up. We've got to figure out exactly how many locations do you have? What are the real addresses? What's your actual doing business as name? What your actual business phone number is? And then we've got to make some adjustments on your behalf to try and get that done. We're going to dive into your backlink report. Kim, do you want to explain what a backlink is, why it's important?
Absolutely. So it is a link that is on another website, and that link will then go to your website. Google goes and counts up these links that are pointing to your website from other websites, and based off the authority or the reputation of the website that's referring traffic, it ties into your score. It averages all of these out, and it is one of the metrics that is counted up to figure out your domain authority online.
Jasmine, in the digital world, Google wants to know, do other people know, love, and trust you? And the way that it finds out is it crawls the internet and looks for links on other people's websites that are pointing to yours. That says you're trustworthy. What do consumers look for that's almost identical to a backlink, but real people are looking for it?
It's going to be your social media platforms as well as your reviews that you have on Google. They're going to go to your social media to see what people think of you, what you guys present yourself in, how you guys are showing. And the one thing I did notice as going through this account and doing this audit is you can't find their social media account anywhere. It's not linked into the website. If you actually type in the company name into Google, you guys don't show up there as well. I had to go deep diving into Facebook, type in different variations of the name to even find the link. Instagram is the same exact way. You cannot find Instagram in the social media standpoint of Google and how they're crawling it. I had to go into Facebook, and that also can be because their Facebook was not added into the actual platform until just last month. So when it's not added in and there's no actual data that hasn't been able to crawl it, you guys aren't going to search. I'm hoping that this will start to build up as time goes on, but we want to ensure that we're adding in posts on a daily basis just to get that kind of variation going. Putting in the job images is great. I did notice that come through, but we want to make sure that's on the website, that they can see your reviews, they can see who you are. It's similar to a backlink to Google, but that's how people relate when it comes to an actual consumer.
Right now, as Jasmine mentioned, if we're looking for your company name, that means your brand. They already know who you are. We're not talking about strangers looking for AC repair in blank. We're talking about my mom referred me to contact your company. I searched for your name and this is what I saw. So technically, right out of the gate, the number of consumers who search for your name before they decide they're going to make a decision, unfortunately, the way it's structured right now, they're probably going to bow out. On the residential side, you're looking at 90% of the companies who do a search for your name, once they find you or referred by you, are probably going to head another direction. Can't afford to invest in marketing activities to get you found only to have a consumer go out the back door. So we've got some work to do. We have some reputation work to do. We have some branding work to do. We have some structural work to do. We have some reviews work to do. And we're going to need your guys' help with this. This is a big deal in order to be able to make all of these proactive marketing things work. Marketing is an offensive and defensive game. You have to play both. In a normal environment, when we are creating a plan of action to go after an offensive strategy to try and drive more traffic, to try and drive more opportunities so that you can convert more leads and acquire more customers, normally we would be coming up with a proactive and positive strategy to be able to take the offensive route to go make that happen. Sometimes, and when I say sometimes, we're talking 2 out of 6 in this group of for the HVAC Accelerator Program. 2, we actually have to pause on all progressive and offensive strategies, and we got to play defense, and we've got to play it for a while. And here's why. Kim, you want to go over the backlinks?
Yes, ma'am. So it looks like in total we've got 565 backlinks with 52 referring domains. Your authority score is 13, and with that many backlinks, that typically means that there's some sort of error either with your website or with your backlinking. In this case, it looks like you guys have acquired some toxic backlinks. This may have been done by an SEO agency that you hired, and they said, hey, we're going to go and do this for $35 and all of a sudden you're going to get ranked. Or, it could have been a competitor that was like, we're done. We're kicking you off Google. There's just a lot of toxic backlinks that were all acquired really, really close to each other. So we've got stuff that's from different countries. We've got stuff with really low authority scores, and it's definitely going to be a cleanup project that we're going to have to handle sooner rather than later.
So you guys, this is kind of like with your kids. If you go in and look at the lunchroom table and you see who your kids are sitting next to, you want them to be good, right? In general, you want them to have good friends. Well, Google's the same way. So Google wants to know good people like good websites. Bad websites target bad websites. So this is not the lunchroom table we want to sit at. Essentially what this shows is you have hundreds of links pointing to your site, and they're pointing to some very strange URLs, basically because you have a cold fusion. We've got some excerpts.php. We have PHP files. There is a ton of kind of garbage pages inside all of your links. So we've got massive structural issues inside the website. We've got a lot of pages that don't necessarily or shouldn't necessarily exist, which almost looks like you guys have been hacked, but I'd have to have access to the site to dive in. These pages, I don't know if someone accidentally created them or if they actually built them all intentionally, or if they were part of a free template they downloaded off of the internet and they just forgot to delete them. The site itself has a ton of bad pages all over the entire site. That is a problem because you can get penalized for that. And then to kind of make the problems a little bit worse, as Kim mentioned, all of these links are really bad links. They have, we got everything from, we got Turkish, we've got some Russian links. I saw some links from all over.
We got some French links in here.
French links, we have them from all over the world. So, and there's so many. We were actually trying to read them earlier, which that can go in the bloopers. But for this, we're kind of toast on starting anything progressive. I know Mike is not going to pause. He is going to start working on the design brief. Jasmine's going to make sure that the design team and the dev team start pulling these things together. They're going to work with the entire team to make that happen. But on Kim's team, not so fun of a project. So they have a nightmare to go through and try and fix this for you guys. We have to disavow every single one of these links. We got pest control, we got marinas, we got Gutenbosch. We have to get rid of all these things, and we have to request that Google disavows these links one at a time. Again, the way that this happens. So number one, somebody gets a spam email from someone overseas that says, your SEO really, really sucks. Here's the 5 things that are wrong with it. Would you like me to send you an entire report on how your website sucks? And they go, okay, send me the report. So they send over a report you can pull off the internet from anywhere. And they say, can you pay via PayPal? We guarantee our results. You send them some money. Next thing you know, they have you rank on page 1 of Google for 30 days. Then your website gets penalized. Your domain gets penalized. You potentially get blacklisted, and you wind up with 546 negative backlinks that are hurting you very, very bad. That's one way. Another way is, let's say that you had an amazing marketing company, i.e. CI Web Group. We're doing your marketing. We get you on page 1 of Google. You're sitting pretty. We knocked Joe Blow HVAC out of the way to claim that page 1 #1 spot for you for AC repair in your city. And whoever manages Joe Blow HVAC doesn't like that very much. So they go pay $35 for a link farm to give you 500 negative friends, negative backlinks. This can also be your nephew who just got out of marketing school. He's now a grad and he knows everything about digital marketing because he's got a certificate. And all of a sudden he says, I can take care of this. So he starts going to work and typing away and going online and going, I heard backlinks were important. I can buy 60 backlinks for $10. And he buys the 60 backlinks. And then he does it again on February 8th, he did it. And then on June 14th, he did it. And on June 9th, he decided to double the order because this is so cool. Man, I had those backlinks in like a week. June 9th, I'm getting twice as many. Your credit card's getting charged. He's doing something that's got positive results. Anyway, there are dozens of different ways this can happen, but the bottom line is you guys could not have picked a more killer time to apply for Goodman's HVAC Accelerator Program, because this, in all other instances, would take forever if it was found at all. Most web agencies are only focused on offense. Because when you play offense and you play defense, it means double the resources. 2 different kinds of talent, it means double the money. No one wants to pay double the money. So you guys, we're gonna take care of this. We're gonna start working on disvaluing these links. We're gonna start working on your website. We're gonna start working on building you some positive links. Now, are we gonna get this website on page 1 of Google and have your phone ringing within the 6-month trial? I don't know, I can't guarantee that, because we're not starting at 0. We're starting at negative 546. So as much as I want to say, we can jump in, go to town, make it happen, and we're going to show you what we can do in 6 months. I'm just going to be honest. This is going to take some effort. It's going to take some work. You have an entire team that at least is going to clear the slate. Our job is to get you to 0 and then hopefully move you past 0 in a 6-month period. That's what we're dedicated to doing. You have a killer team behind you. So I know that it's not great news, and I apologize for having to deliver it. We all do, but we love you very much. We look forward to helping you get past this moment. And now we won't have this moment happen again, or hopefully you have SEO monitoring that's playing defense in the future so they can catch these things when it happens so it doesn't have a negative impact on your business going forward.
So did you guys get a chance to see the video that that CI Web Group put together for you guys about your website?
It was an eye opener as far as truly how our website is and the amount of negative stuff on it, and so it was an eye opener.
It's pretty high tech stuff, but I think there's a lot of neat things in there and great attributes you can get out of that website.
We're going to start really quick by going through the website. Just kind of a general overview. Your guys' website is stronger than the majority of the sites we've looked at so far as a part of the program. And it's stronger than most sites. However, there's still lots of areas of opportunity. So as we drill into this, I'm going to go through some of them and then bring some of our team in to give some insights on some missing elements as well. First and foremost, the overall design, we've got to bring some life into this design. The only image that's on here that's a real image is the About Us section. Everything else is a stock image. Mike, how bad do you want images? What kind of graphics can they send you to help bring the site to life?
Excuse me. The images that will make your website pop will be your personal images, which are the images of your vehicles, the images of your building, the images of jobs that you're actually doing, or even afterwards. Those are the type of images that you would like to go on your website. As Jennifer stated, the website is great. It just needs a little bit of other things to help it along, to get it where it needs to go. So the more personal, most personalized images that you can add to it, the better off it will be. It'll actually be in my mind.
Absolutely. Where are we located? We're located in Houston. You guys, right out of the gate, I got to feel like we're in Houston. We're right outside of Cypress, Mike and I. So, and Kathy's outside of Houston, as is Scott's in Dallas, Chris is in Dallas, Jasmine's in California, Kim is in right outside of the Houston area. All of us are from specific areas, and when we visit a website, we're going to want to feel like we're at home. So when I come to the site, we got to bring some culture into the site. We got to bring some elements that really make us feel like we're at home. That's going to come through in personalized images. Also, that can come through in campaigns that are relative to your target market or your audience. Kathy, what other call to actions or conversion tools are consumers looking for 24 hours a day that they're missing that we could add to really improve conversions?
Absolutely. Definitely in the header and in several spots on the website, we want to have a really easy way for people to contact you. If they want to schedule time to talk with you, if they want to schedule that virtual meeting, maybe they're a little nervous about having someone come to their home, giving them that capacity to be able to meet you and talk with you and maybe flip their phone and show you what's going on or show the sound of or the audio of what's going on with the unit. Also, some people, when they come to websites, they don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want to email you, but they would love to chat their question to you. So having the ability to have maybe an artificial intelligence chatbot is what we call it, where it can actually talk to that person and get their data, and you get emailed that someone's interested in talking with you. Or if you can have a live chat or a text feature on your website where people can reach you, ask their questions, possibly even schedule, you can get them dispatched, okay? The ability to be able to have a virtual meeting is a really big deal during this time that we're in right now. And lastly, some people are ready to buy a filter. They're looking for a filter. They're looking for the products that you've recommended them to buy before you come out and do their service. Or maybe they want to go ahead and purchase that service so they can scratch it off their list and be done with it. Or they may want to actually buy their system and maybe get on a finance plan directly with you. So the conversion thing, Jennifer, is a big deal for websites.
Let's dive in really quick. We're in the middle of the cooling season. It's hot. We're in Houston. I'm wearing a jacket because I'm inside with air conditioning. Otherwise, I would be in a swimsuit right now. So it's hot. We've got to make sure that your primary services you sell in the primary cities you want to sell them have enough content that Google thinks you're an expert. Right now, you're looking at probably less than 150 words on each page. That's not going to cut it. So I do like the fact that you have the Spanish version and the English version of the website. Obviously, wildly important. But then we kind of make some interesting decisions, such as referring to air conditioning as cooling. Inside the navigation or inside your URL structure, we're using the word cooling, which from all of our insights, cooling has very limited searches from consumers because their cooling is not broken, their cooling is not working. Cooling is what an air conditioner does, it's not what it is. So it's not a cooling system or a cooling unit, right? Or a high efficiency cooling system. What it is a high efficiency air conditioning system. It's an AC, it's an air conditioner, it's air conditioning. So I wanna make sure that we have some really strong consistency in when we're using terms throughout the entire website, that we're focusing on the primary search term language that consumers are actually looking for. Air conditioner, AC, air conditioning, and cooling can be used somewhere in the text, but not in a really prominent place, like inside the URL or inside a heading, an H1 title or even an H2 title. We need to bury that inside the content as a possible variation of the term. So each one of these pages that has a limited amount of content is not working for you. You're working for it. In fact, the majority of the entire website, while it's structured with good intention, I love the intention. You have one primary page for each primary service. Now, we've got to take that same philosophy and we need to have one primary page for each primary city you want to serve. Houston is huge. Huge in geography, huge in population, and huge in competition. So 100% of nothing is nothing. When you guys are trying to get found in a high competition area like Houston, you either are going to have to pay per lead, pay per click, pay per call, or we got to dive into some other cities that can make you some money organically while we're working on Houston.
So when you look at search volume, that's understanding demand, and all marketing really is a deep understanding of supply and demand. The supply is your competition. It's how many people are servicing that need that need to be served. Now, specifically speaking to the question, what does that mean to organics? Well, the top 5 search results get around, I think it's 40 to 50% of the clicks. It's pretty significant. Only 4% of the entire population goes to page 2. About 16% of those folks doing the monthly search click on ads. And so it's really a real estate game to be able to have as much of that real estate where the 96% of clicks go. You can ignore the 4 clicks that go to page 2 because statistically, around 80% of those that go to page 2 actually go to page 3, and they're doing it because they're looking through the search results. They're not actually looking to navigate into a website. So looking at the metrics as they trizzle down, website visitors are based on a metric that we look at called click-through rate. There's an industry standard for click-through rate. I'm proud to say that in most analytics that I've been able to look at, we've doubled click-through rate through our well-crafted ad copy and well-crafted meta descriptions that are written in a format to engage users. Going back to the price model, after the click-through rate, they become a website visitor. So their status changes from a searcher to a visitor. If they don't leave as soon as they join, so relevant content is key, not just content. So if they're interested and what they search for is what they see, for example, if you have in a heading 1 and a large heading saying AC repair and they search for AC replacement, believe it or not, that creates this neurological inconsistency that makes the user say, I might not be where I intended to be. And so that's called a bounce rate. That's how many people land on your website and then leave. Typical bounce rates, 50%. So, and this just basically means that what they saw, you have 3 seconds to capture their attention, and then you have 8 seconds to produce a comforting feeling of assurance. So 1, validate reason. 2, be able to give them assurance, and then they become an interested prospect. Going back to the other sheet, the very next step, and as you can see, the number reduces as we go from left to right, and this is why they call it a funnel. At every step where the user is forced to engage, we lose some. It's a fact. And so understanding what the industry standards are and best practices is the best way we can optimize each step of the funnel, and through monthly strategy meetings with your managers, with your account managers, be able to figure out which metrics need the most attention. The next metric is called a conversion rate. So form fills and phone calls count as a conversion rate. For this model, it looks like we've used 30% conversion rate. And a conversion for us isn't a conversion to a customer, it's a conversion to a lead. Once you go from lead to customer, that's called acquisition rate, and that is held by your CSRs. So the new customer, the reducer between a conversion, aka form call or form fill, and the new customers is your acquisition rate. And based on the search term, whatever you acquired them for, such as AC repair, has an associated value as pertains to your business. If you're using great software like House Call Pro or Service Titan, or one of the other ones that Goodman suggests, that we can definitely tune this to produce more predictable revenue. But the point is you should have a level of predictability.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to commend you for having your YouTube channel set up with some videos on there. That's great. You've heard about how important SEO is to your website. Well, YouTube is the second largest search engine, so it's very important that you have everything set up right. So there's 2 areas you can go with, and that's SEO for your YouTube channel and SEO for each video. So each of those can help you be found on the web. And so what we typically recommend to dealers, and what we would love to see you guys push forward with, is grabbing the manufacturer videos that are provided to you. I know the Partner Link dealer marketing website provides videos that we can tag and put your call to action on the end of it, and throw them up on your YouTube channel, and optimize each video for, say, one video has to do with air conditioning repair. Then we would take that video and we'd throw it on your website, on your web page that has to do with air conditioning repair. So it goes back to being relevant information that will keep somebody visiting your website there for longer, which increases your SEO. It also gives you a credibility factor when you start placing videos on your website. People love to see that. It keeps them there longer, and so forth and so on. So we take a several pronged approach with the videos. We love to have them on YouTube so they can be found. We put them on your website, and then we can start utilizing them on your social media channels, your other social media channels. Facebook is just an incredible place to launch these videos and to help drive traffic to your website as well. So those are things we look forward to working with you and getting going, and driving more traffic to your site and increasing your business.
the big one is we need to personalize our website. Right now, I mean, they put it in layman's terms. It's a good website. It did a good job for the very beginning, but it's still fairly generic. It tastes like soup. I'm actually paraphrasing one of the comments that I really like. And something that actually Michael and Kimberly addressed with me yesterday is we need to get your personal touch on the website. That being some of the labor that we're doing. That includes our staff. Obviously, that includes our dog. So that's one of the main takeaways that I got, because at the end of the day, that's going to increase, I believe they call it the domain presence or a domain marker, which it's basically, we want to make sure that people that are coming to our website, there is a larger conversion rate and they're calling us.
Put it under one heading, branding. Okay? That's it. And Matt Plugoff is the best in the industry.
Let's go through some of those reports. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Right here we have GT Metrics, which our team pulled together, an executive summary of your site page speed and performance. What is this? Why is it important? What are we talking about?
Yeah, page speed is one of the most critical metrics to your SEO, as it is an indicator of your user's overall experience. Google doesn't like slow pages, and neither do people. I believe it is in the top 3 metrics that apply to your SEO. So super, super important metric. The challenge is it's easy to max if you don't have a very rich user experience. So there's a little bit of an oxymoron there. So the more stuff that you add to your website to improve the user's experience, the heavier the website is to pull, and more expensive of a horse it takes to pull it typically. So there is definitely some pros and cons to looking at page speed and finding a good balance that works for you and your company.
SEO is essentially search engine optimization. It is the evaluation of a whole bunch of different factors to get your website showing up to people who are looking for it. That's it. What are we looking at here?
So the overall score for the SEO on this website was 72%. It passed 36 out of 48 checks, so there's definitely room for improvement. It did fail 11 out of 48, so those are those improvement points. And then we see 1 out of 48 warnings, so those are typically coming from Google Search Console. As you scroll down, there's some issues with meta descriptions, which is that is definitely something really big, because that is what is facing your consumer and can oftentimes make that be the deciding factor on why they actually click through to your website. So meta descriptions are definitely something that we need to focus on optimizing.
And this is your
NAP citations.
NAP citations. Go ahead.
This is where it gets to be fun. This is where you get to start building up your links online that refer back to your website. As you get found and indexed with having more backlinks and more relevant links through social bookmarking sites, off-page article building sites, and then even your community events, you're going to see that you're going to be found more and more often. Specifically on these, what we did was we ran a search to see if you were being pulled with the correct business name, address, phone number, and website. And we just found a lot of errors online. So we're going to go through and fix those for you. And that's going to do a lot for you online. It's going to really help your online reputation and make it to where also if people are searching for you on here, you want to show them the relevant information so they can actually get in touch with you or, schedule business with you.
Absolutely. So you guys, a backlink is essentially the same as a review. Google wants to see backlinks. Humans want to see reviews. They're trying to figure out if they can trust you and love you or not. So that's pretty much it, right? So if you're talking to a human and they want to know, can I trust you and love you? They're going to say, hey, can you show me reviews of other quality, unique individuals who have done business with you? And can I see what they think of you? Well, if I'm talking to Google, Google doesn't get to talk to the human, and it's surely not reading your reviews. So it definitely is looking at, let me look at other quality, unique websites who have good reputations. This is the kid you want your kids to hang out with at the lunchroom, not the ones you don't. So all links are not equal. You don't want good links from bad people. That doesn't work. But essentially, you want to have as many links coming from quality other resources as possible so that we can show Google you're relevant, you're trusted, you're loved by all these other great websites. You should love me too.
So that's why the Google guaranteed is not clicking for us, and I guarantee it.
Probably.
To put on the words, but yeah, so I think that there's probably a lot of this on toptechmech.com too, because the same person that was doing this as SEO was, I've only had one person do SEO for me. I just imagine there's probably like 15, if not 20 times the amount of this data to toptechmech.com, which I know Michael said he was looking into because he's going to merge them both with the good stuff. So that's the best presentation I've ever seen, truth be told, from any digital marketing company that I've ever done business with. That was the best one.
I agree. Which I love, because that's what you need.
For your website design overview, we did a template site coming into the ball game. Basically, with the template site, we just fixed the colors. We added in your guys' information. We added in your logo, had that all go through onto your guys' website. We had the call to action buttons. But again, this is a template site, so it was very basic. There's not many stock images on here that come through besides the one image we have over here in the corner of you guys in front of the building, in front of your truck. And then going in your guys' about us. So there's a little issues, I would say, with the stock images. People come to a website, they want to see who you are, what you guys do, what your vans look like, what your job is before and after. And in that sense, they're going to come to your website to see that. They're going to go to your social media profiles to see that. They're going to go to your Google My Business to see that. And coming to your website, there's no real job images. There's no who you are. There's nothing customized about it because it was a template site. We were getting started, trying to get the website up and live out the gate. And going down through it, we have the what you do. With this text coming in a little bit wonky, you see it comes up and down, but that's okay. Because with this program, we are going to be doing that custom site for you guys.
Jasmine did touch a little bit about virtual meetings, and it's all about meeting people where they are. That's one of Jennifer's favorite things to say in her speaking events. And meeting people by a virtual meeting, because they're a little uncomfortable with people coming into their home. It may be a senior or someone with a newborn baby, and they're just nervous. And they need good indoor air quality, and being able to talk to you all, meeting you, and y'all walking through what you would do when you come into the home may easily convert that customer. So having a real nice kind of above the fold, we offer virtual meetings. Wow. You know, that's be different from the people down the street. And, you know, that's beat the competitors. Okay. Also being able to, for folks to be able to schedule their maintenance appointment and possibly pay for that ahead of time and schedule it out. Maybe it's Dr. Williams and he's busy, you know, and he knows that he's got certain days he can book with y'all. It's Sunday morning at 3 a.m. and he wants to knock that off his list of things to remember to do. And so to be able to go online and schedule a time, even just to talk with somebody or to maybe schedule that service because he's an ongoing customer with y'all is beautiful. Okay, there's a couple of other features that we can sort of meet people where they are, right? And so we also have a couple of different chat systems that are rather amazing. One of them is hands-free for y'all, and you receive the leads by email or through your Facebook fan page and messenger system. Okay, and that's where this AI chatbot will actually talk to your customer and kind of move them into being a converted lead with great contact information and maybe qualifying them just a little bit to see if that is a good customer for your business. Now, we also have another meet people where they are system called a chat and text system, which is amazing, which you can actually place on the site. People can choose. and be able to reach you for questions and maybe even a conversion and maybe a new customer that's kicking the tires.
While Jasmine and the web team focus on making a customer experience be the best it can be, my job is to focus on making Google's experience the best it can be. Whenever it comes to marketing towards Google, what you're doing is really marketing towards these little bots that go and crawl your website and say, I like this because this is what I think that my consumers want to read, what they want to experience. Things like having images, videos on every pillar page, things like that are extremely helpful in getting higher rankings, being seen for more consumers. So overall, we've got an 84% SEO score, so that's pretty good with not having a lot of marketing. Passed 38 out of 48 checks and failed 7, and there's 3 warnings. So that means that this could be potentially, one of Google's preferred changes coming soon. So we try to update those as they come out. We've also included in your reporting a full list of recent Google changes for the preferred algorithm. So we'll go through some of these quickly. Meta titles, great. So when we initially did your on-page SEO during your web project, we worked on meta titles, meta descriptions, as well as working on keywords, things like that. We can also see your cloud. So it's funny because we actually looked at some of the other HVAC Accelerator dealers that were included, and this is a world of difference. So we're seeing that a lot of your focus keywords are air conditioning, heating, home, quality, repair, replacement. These are all great phrases for this cloud test. Let's also look a little bit further down. It looks like we see some images that need alt text improved, and we can absolutely take care of that. And we've also got some inline CSS. So our web team will take care of that, followed up by our SEO team to make sure that all that is minified and Google's able to read over it quicker, which is going to really help your page speed. This is your backlink report. So this is just doing a basic overview of some of the backlinks that we have coming in. What we're doing is we're going to look through all of these, make sure that these are completely clean. What I was referring to earlier with toxic backlinks is if we see something that's potentially for another language other than English, if we see stuff with a low domain authority or a really high spam score, we typically try to disavow those, but we do it in percentages. So we don't want to disavow everything all at once because then it can actually negatively affect you. So it is a matter of going through it, looking at it and disavowing them at the correct time. We've got this full list, and I totally recommend looking over this and just seeing, which websites online are referring to your business. Your NAP citations or NAP plus W citations, also known as local listings. Okay. So we ran through here and we saw that about 69% of your listings in total were incorrect. We saw 25% were missing altogether and 6% were correct. So what we need to do is go through and make all these changes. For instance, we definitely want to get some more photos into your Google Maps or your Google My Business. That is a huge way to get people online. I mean, you can imagine if somebody's typing in AC repair, the first thing that pops up after the paid ads is the Google local pack, which is where somebody can, click to call you or to go to your website. We want to get as many of those users as possible because that's the easiest win, right? It's just right off Google. I'm going to call them. They've got good reviews. Bam. So we're going to definitely spend some time working on that together. And then things like this, we've got to make sure that all of these addresses are the same. It does matter. Google wants to see consistency throughout. And if we don't have that, you are going to see reduced rankings. And then the most important thing, of course, is making sure that that website's correct.
I really like it. It's so much nicer. It doesn't look so like kind of boilerplate. I like the colors. It's very colorful and vibrant, and it really sticks out. And everything is really easy to see. So it's not like someone's going to come here and go, I can't find the air conditioning tab. It's right there. Yeah, I really like it. I definitely like it.